16th Street Tower in Chicago, Illinois, cleared its final train on April 11th, 2025, marking an end to over 120 years of operation. We were on hand on April 9th, 2025, to cover the tower one last time before its closure later in the week. We started our day with train 405 heading south past the tower. The 16th Street Tower was built in 1901 and was originally manned by the New York Central. Control was handed to the Rock Island in 1968 when Penn Central pulled its final trains from LaSalle Street Station. Metra eventually took over manning the tower and in 2025 had remoted the control to the Consolidated Control Facility just across the Chicago River. Next up would be inbound train number 304, being pushed by F40PH M-2-209. We swung around to the north side of the interlocking to get a better view of the poor condition of the 124-year-old building. 16th Street Crossing is currently the crossing of the Metra Rock Island District and Canadian National Chicago and Joliet subs, but at one time the interlocking was much more complex, including over 20 diamonds and many connections to different routes. As of 2025, on the weekdays, there are 80 scheduled Metra trains, 6 Amtrak trains, and a handful of CN trains that use the crossing. Meeting the 304 near LaSalle was the next outbound train, train 605 with MP36PH-3S number 425 leading, the Rock Island Heritage Unit. The 16th Street Tower has always been a favorite of rail fans thanks to not only it being a manned interlocking tower, but the fantastic view of the Chicago skyline to the north. In these two views, we see Amtrak train 391, the Saluki, sliding past the tower with a consist of an SC-44 and 7 superliners. Taking an overview of the diamond for inbound train number 704, we can get a better sense of the current layout as well as see some of the future plans for the interlocking. We can see that there are currently 2 unused diamonds, one being a new third main for the Rock Island and the other being the currently unconnected diamond for the St. Charles Airline Bridge connection. We would have an additional 2 inbounds, the first being powered by an MP36. The second had an F40PH pushing on the rear. As morning rush wound down, we would get another pair of Metras. First, outbound train 407, then inbound train 612. While 612 is passing, we can see the city of New Orleans waiting to cross on the CN route. With the gap in the morning rush, Amtrak train 58, the northbound city of New Orleans, takes the diamond. Power for the city today was Amtrak P42 number 194 and 7 superliners. After a short time away from the interlocking, we would return to find CN L537 waiting at the diamond for Metra inbound 614. The 614 would be bringing the Rock Island Heritage Unit back downtown. With the Rock Island cleared, we would catch L537 crossing the 16th Street interlocking. Power for the day would be SD75I 5759, a pair of BNSF GEs, and a Canadian National SD60. This would be our final freight passing the manned interlocking tower. Our final catch at 16th Street Tower would be a meet between two Metra trains, an inbound with a double header and an outbound with a triple header. Quite the impressive display for our final trains at 16th Street. Manned interlocking towers are becoming fewer and further between in the United States. With 16th Street now fallen, there is one less in Chicagoland.